do.
I
And
can hear you. For some reason, my volume wasn't working earlier.
well, I can definitely hear you now, Dem. At least.
Yeah, look at that diary page.
You were a little muffled. You should be better now. But yes, here we are. Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, consumed by the darkness today. Yeah. And welcome to. Uh, we're doing a bit of a stream catching up on what we missed yesterday, which was the New World situations. We didn't quite cover both of the things I wanted to discuss in the stream yesterday when we ended up just talking about population. So I want to discuss a little bit with Nemcraft and anyone else who stops by uh, the way that the Treaty of Tordesillas and the Great Pestilence, I think it's called, the way those two things work. Which in EU4, it's a very simple and a not so great system. It's kind of annoying and it's weird because you just the first person to colonize enough in a region to create a colonial nation gets a bonus to colonizing there, and it's only for the one religion. And I mean, I assume it's only going to be for the one religion here, but there wasn't anything involved choice-wise, really. It was just a case of if you're a Catholic country, you got to play by those rules, and no one else does. Is affected by it in any way. But theoretically here, it'll have a little more impact on your game. Though colonization in general, I keep hearing, is in a very rough state. So we'll have to see. But the Treaty of Tordesillas. Yes, okay, my mic is working. Treaty of Tordesillas can be triggered after the Age of Discovery starts, so later than 1437. Huh? The Age of Discovery. I don't remember what causes it to start.
Well, I'm pretty sure the ages, at least the way they're putting it, it might just be triggered at 1437, unless it's specifically colonization.
Maybe. Um,
It's been a while since we did that Dev Diary. I'm gonna have to go back and read later.
I think because I think they've been making some changes to the way that exploration and such works. Because I watched a video, an after action report by the student, I think he's called.
Okay.
Because he's the guy who initially, during his for his early access footage, he played as Greenland, and
Oh
uh,
yeah, that one.
he did an after action report now again where he's talking about now that he's gotten access to the game again he played Greenland now and what changed. And apparently Greenland is only able to explore and colonize at the beginning of the game overseas because they have a unique government reform that lets them do it. Other people can't. Most people need to have the a colonialism institution. So
Okay, because I was gonna say otherwise that would have been really overpowered. But
yeah.
go,
So
going back to the main thing, I'm just looking at the event here. I do find it really interesting that it can be two Catholic countries. It is similar to EU4, where it didn't just have to be Castile and Portugal. And I'm glad they're keeping that.
at least two Catholic countries, the capital in Europe, held any location, or at least one subject each in America. Yeah. So as long as there are two Catholic countries that have touched ground in the
Yeah.
Americas.
And then they've actually set up a colony. They can't have just discovered it.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to own land there. Yeah. Um, so the example being, okay, Castile has a colony in Hispaniola and Portugal has one in Brazil. Fair enough. So you get our share of the world, where you have a cardinal. You have a cardinal in the middle, and then two different colored
Yeah, the
uniforms on each
orange
side.
people or the brown and the blue.
Yes, they are cutting up the map. Yes. Um. Yes. Expansion into the lands of Bavaro has not gone unnoticed by the people of the Kingdom of Portugal. Uh, yeah, I love all the dynamic localization. That's always fun.
It is awesome. The interesting thing about the Treaty of Tordesillas, like in real life, is that it didn't just divide the land in the New World, it divided basically the entire planet.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, Spain didn't go colonizing in Africa or India as much, because that had already been decided from the Treaty of Tordesillas to go to Portugal.
Yes. Which is, I wonder if this will apply across continents like that as well, or if it will just be uh, the Americas. That'll
See,
be
I'd like it
curious.
to at least initially apply, but then you can just ignore it later without much repercussions, because what is Spain going to do after they've lose lost their power?
Fair enough. Uh, I like Tordesillas would be best. You choose where you meet. I wonder what that does. Uh,
I think they might say later.
Isabella
Oh, they changed
Castile
the treaty
Ferdinand of
here?
Aragon, the king
That's
of.
awesome.
They what?
Oh, I don't know if you want me to spoil that. Just scroll down a little bit whenever you're ready.
Okay, okay. See. Um, but yeah, you choose where you meet, and the country that gets the event will have the option to decide where to have the meeting to discuss about the treaty, and the locations available are the capitals of the two countries, a bordering location, and an American one. Ah, great. So you need to go the rulers of each country need to sail to the New World and meet in some small colonial village and be like, this is how we're gonna divide up the world now. Because Valladolid's the capital of Castile, I think. But yeah, and you get oh, some societal values changing.
The last sentence in the paragraph is the part that I was like, oh my god, because the treaty name is dynamic, which I'm so happy about.
You get our share of the world. Valladolid's the best place. Hello,
Yes, now it's
Rasak.
called the Treaty of Valladolid.
No, which is good, yeah, because that means imagine, hold on. If you as the Pope start colonizing in the New World, does that mean that the Pope can do the Treaty of Rome with other
See,
people?
what I was thinking, Joffrey, is that if England and Scotland were colonizing, you could get the Treaty of York.
The Treaty yes. Uh, and yes, Eric, it is the second part of yesterday's stream because we didn't get to that yesterday, so catching up on it now. Rare Shadow Joffrey, yes. I am but a mysterious, shadowy form in the darkness. Ooh. But it will join the meeting.
Oh, I've skimmed ahead a little bit. I really like what they're doing.
And then, yeah, as you were saying, yeah, the treaty name is dynamic, so then it creates the situation once you choose where the meeting's going to happen, and then that creates the situation for the treaty. Better question, can the Pope just give himself what he wants? That would be nice if you play the Pope.
Well, the Pope has to be colonizing, I assume.
Yeah, but if I'm colonizing as the Pope, do I as the Pope need to then create the Treaty of Rome and debate with other Catholic powers
Well,
on
the thing is, right? The Pope was seen as the neutral power. How could you make a treaty if they're just not neutral? I don't get it.
if the Pope is colonizing, how does the Pope remain neutral? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
how are they interfering between the other two? I don't understand that situation anyway.
Treaties being discussed. State of the treaty. Origin of the
Oh,
line.
we got to that part.
O-
Awesome.
origin of the line. Progress to
Yes, that's the part that
ratification.
I saw drop that made me incredibly happy, more than anything else so far in this game. The fact that you can actually move the line of the treaty sounds awesome.
You choose where the line that you divide the world.
And you can shift it. There's a button that says shifting the line.
So you get shifting the line, claiming areas, revoking claims. Huh. Bold to
And then you know what's
us.
even better? There's a button there that says push to settle treaty. So if you've got the line, a place you really like it, but you don't want to actually the change, you just immediately go, yeah, 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 we go, guys, time to go home.
Bold to assume Paradox would give anything to the papacy. The Pope can't even control this Ohio. Yeah. Yes, the Pope. The Pope is
Actually, yeah, yeah. It's just another cardinal.
Minecraft as a result of this, we need to make the Soul Arc in Kyungl just be uh the Soul Arc needs to have just unlimited power in its own IO.
It would be really funny.
Every single cardinal in his IO gets assigned by that tag. That tag gets to choose each and every one.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
No, it's exactly enough. Alright, but I'm curious about the line. Okay, a location will be
I'm
set.
really hoping, Joffrey. Oh yeah, you first.
No. What are you hoping? What are you hoping?
I was hoping that the globe thing where it says progress to ratification, it might move the line depending on where you put it.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
That's hoping for a bit much, but it'll be nice.
A location will be set as a fixed point to divide the world. And from that onwards, each of the countries will have a sphere of influence in which it will be able to claim areas. The area in which the initial colonies will be granted to each country, and from there on, they will be able to claim areas that are adjacent to those initial claims.
Oh, so it actually does just split the world in half. That's pretty nice.
So, sphere of influence in which they can claim areas. So you get each of your spheres is in half the world.
That's what it seems like. So Africa's there. You got
Yeah.
Indonesia. Like you are just splitting the world.
And the area in which the initial colonies are in will be granted to each country, and from there on they can claim areas that are adjacent to those claims. If this could be so tedious. This is either going to be extremely easy to code or very difficult, like very tedious. It purely depends on how
See,
they let you claim stuff.
I imagine that you could just copy a lot of it if you wanted to have. Maybe if you wanted to change it in more and have more than two people, that would be a bit much.
Actually, it probably isn't going to be that complicated because we already know that they've got like a functionality for IO territory. So their
They
areas
do.
can be considered part of an international organization's like owned land for one way or another, based because like the Holy Roman Empire invented that. Their IO is the initial one that has that. So maybe this is a variation of that, just changing what it
Okay.
does. If the
I'm
world
currently
is
looking at this interesting. Okay.
if the world is round and everything west of the line is Spain's, then does that mean that everything until you meet the line? Yeah, yeah, I guess that's the whole
No,
point
no,
behind the
no.
claiming of areas.
That's not exactly how it works because from what I remember, the line like extended across because they knew the world was a sphere. That's why you, for example, you had Spanish Philippines, but Portuguese India. Like they didn't actually like make a two lines.
Uh, if two colonies were present in the same area, then the claim a conflicting area would be available to both countries. You can also try to revoke a claim from the other country, but that requires to request the Pope. The claims ban colonization by other Catholic countries, but you still have to colonize those areas using regular game mechanics. So this means that if you're a Catholic country and you're trying to colonize and you're not one of the first two, you're gonna be in a rough spot because the Catholic
So,
world is basically gonna just decide that those two first countries get dibs.
see, it is rough, but also that's literally what happened in real life.
Yeah. So then my other question is, what happens if you subjugate Portugal? You're
You just
playing
get
as
everything. That's what happened in real life.
you're playing as Castile and you just subjugate Portugal. So, yep, it's all mine now.
Well, technically it was a PU, not a subjugation, but you get the idea. They just got everything. Remember, Eden sent that screenshot of what that Spain wanted to do, which was take over China to attack the Ottomans from behind.
True.
They really thought they were the universal monarchy. They wanted everything.
Hmm. Yeah, I yeah, because it says that it says that it bans colonization from other Catholic countries, but it doesn't say that you can't. It doesn't say that it's impossible, Eric. So the question then
I
becomes, what does
assume
it
ban
actually
means
do?
impossible.
I would assume so, but it's not specific.
See,
So
my guess is there's some technology or something you can get later in the game that unbans it. So it's like a temporary blocker to give the countries in the Treaty towards see a head start.
claim an area. So yeah, you spend some prestige, and yeah, all you have to do is spend some prestige, and you expand a colonial claim into adjacent areas. So that's not going to be very hard to do. You'll be able to expand those pretty easily. And then claiming conflicting areas. Yeah, just oh oh you gain oh it's from favors with Portugal. It's not even like using your religious power. It's specifically favors from the tag. Interesting, strange, and curious.
Why would we call the tag moron?
Moron? What?
You just slow down, like
Moron?
in Cuba.
What's moron? Why? Why is it moron?
I don't know. I assume that's the colony.
Oh, the
I
colony of
think this is the
moron.
how you can block each other's claims because Portugal got some of Cuba, and then Spain's like, no.
Well, one of them is yeah, Portugal's trying to uh remove Spain's claim to the area or claim it
I
because
don't
it's
know who's doing
conflicted.
who, but you get that idea.
Yeah. So I guess the idea is that I don't know because the line gets drawn up. The line gets drawn up between east and west,
Yeah.
but the line itself doesn't make it impossible for you to colonize it.
The line is like the starting area, to put it simply. And I think what they're saying, because Joffrey, if you look in the very top picture where they have the initial treaty, you can see there's two different types of dashes. You've got the yellow one and the blue one, vaguely where the line is. Does
And
that make sense? You see that?
there's the faint blue one, and then there's the stronger colored blue one. So
Yes. So that's the line there. But you can like expand around the line. Like for example, even though they had the line for the Treaty of Tordesillas, Portugal still got a lot of Brazil, which was on the other side of the line.
just I guess the idea is you can't. It's a little unspecific about what the soft lines actually do. I
I'm pretty
guess
sure that's showing the division, and then what you do is you use your advantages and your prestige to move the line in your favor and like get specific areas that you want outside of the line.
you can theoretically colonize stuff that's outside the line, even though you don't have a claim on it. Like in Europe, you're the opposite faction's region because they haven't claimed it yet. You don't really think this needs to be a mechanic. Doesn't need to be one, no. There's a ton of stuff that doesn't need to be mechanics.
I think this needs to be a mechanic. You can't properly simulate the colonial era without the Treaty of Tordesillas.
It would feel very strange to not have any way of representing it. And I think
Yeah,
this
like
is a
not
much more
representing it, in my opinion, is like not representing the electoral HRE.
it's
It's an
a
integral part of history.
this is a much more engaging way of doing that mechanic than the way that EU4 did it. I like it. Have to actually try it out to see how it functions. And also, it'll be funny to, if I'm trying to do Cathar France, because I want to do a Cathar or Waldensian France sometime. Yeah, I just ignore it. Whoops.
Oh, Joffrey, I get it now. I'm looking at the. Do you see that purple dot on the map where we saw the dashed lines and originally? That's
Yeah.
right on the border. I'm pretty sure that tells you which province the line starts at.
Oh, so you get like the Havana thing, and you get moron.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
you're
the
right.
purple line for Havana, that's just where the line is.
Huh.
That's my guess, at least.
So the idea being that the line was created there, and they both already own land next to each other there, so that makes it contested. So most of the time, the contested zones thing isn't even going to happen.
Most of the time, it won't happen because they'll be in separate regions entirely, which is what happened historically.
Yeah,
Here, they just happen to go to the same island, so
and as a result, there's a way to fix it. If that happens, that's good. That's good.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Nemcraft, they can basically no one can hear you on stream because it sounds like you're at the bottom of a well. They're saying
I'll turn off my headphones 1 second.
you're talking through your headphones.
I'm not actually talking through my headphones.
Okay, well now you just disappeared. You said I'm not actually talking through my headphones, then and disappeared.
I disconnected the headphones and then it reconnected them. This is so good. Let's move on.
Suddenly real audio. Yes, he is
East of
here.
the imaginary line. Okay, yeah, so I was right, Joffrey. If you scroll down, they actually explain what the lines do.
Oh yeah, revoking. Oh,
So all that theorizing, they just tell us what it does.
Tapuios is east of the imaginary line centered on Mairi that the Treaty of Tordesillas will use to divide the world. Once the treaty is ratified, this location will be claimed by the Kingdom of Portugal. Oh, so ratifying
So
the
the
treaty is that's exactly what you were getting at, Nem, where you try to push the line in your favor further, and
yeah,
then the more you put, once you decide that the line has been pushed enough in your favor, um you try to ratify
you
it.
try to get it done and get
Yeah.
signed as quickly as possible. And I'm pretty sure earlier, beyond just ratifying it, you can also push in like for your claims so that it's not just a straight line. Because historically, right, Portugal got a lot of Brazil that was west of the line. It was not like a hard. It was a soft barrier more than anything. Is the idea?
The two sides is the two sides thing is dynamic, Eric. It just requires two. The first, this treaty is set up between the first two Catholic countries to colonize, where whoever the
Which is
first two,
usually going to be Portugal and Spain.
yes, which will usually be them. Doesn't mean it will be though,
But
because
if
it could very
somehow
well
if
be England.
Norway manages to colonize Finland, they could be one of them.
Oh yeah, it could totally be yeah. Norway or England are also good candidates.
I'm not so sure about England because they're a bit further, but a player in Norway could totally do it.
Well, it depends on if they have money to spend. But anyway, there's multiple people it could be.
Yes. And yeah, now they talk about shifting the line and exchanging the sides.
Claimed by Portugal. Locations owned. Legumes. It makes
I was
legumes.
gonna talk about that. Yeah,
Fish
it's
and
a funny word.
legumes. I just love saying legumes. It's a
I
fun
know.
word, just like moist. I like moist.
Hmm.
Is there a New World trigger, or will colonizing in Europe trigger this? It needs to be in the Americas. They said it needs to be the
Yeah, they did
Americas. Yeah,
specifically say that,
yeah.
which means like you can't colonize Australia, you can't colonize Africa. It has to be America.
The first two Catholic countries that own tiles in the Americas.
There needs to be actual colonial nations, to put it specifically.
Not even. No, you just need to own land. You don't even
Did it?
need to
Did it?
finish.
I thought it said notions. One
You do
second.
not have to finish colonizing an area. It says that you can
Oh,
have
okay.
subjects. Yeah, because like you maybe someone's finished making a colonial. They've colonized an area and created a
Oh,
colonial subject. So it counts for as
I
long
misread the
as
first part. So any location or a subject each. Okay, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you might have conquistadors showing up. If
Well, they
someone
wouldn't be holding it, right? Wouldn't they?
a conquistador conquers land, and once it conquers enough land, it becomes a colonial subject.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can just violate the treaty. Interesting.
Let's see, England and Spain, some games. If Spain eats Portugal, yeah, definitely. Then I mean, you might even see Aragon. Uh, you will trigger.
Aragon would be a funny pick. But if I was at least a player Spain, I would actually let Portugal live to get the Treaty of Tordesillas, the ratify it, and then get Portugal as a subject or a personal union for their claims.
Yeah. England automatically at game start with the green. You mean Norway? Norway at game start. But no, that does not. That does not count. Uh,
Sorry, Greenland is not part of America.
so what you would need, um, you would
You
basically,
need Vinland.
um, to do it really fast as Norway, you could theoretically make it happen by playing as, by like, if you played a multiplayer game with someone as Norway. Actually, no, you wouldn't even need to. But like the point is, honestly, actually, this could be crazy if you're playing a Greenland game. Like, if you're imagine if you're playing Greenland, this means that if you um colonize, you colonize like some of Vinland, and that means that you owning that as soon as another European Catholic country reaches the New World and starts colonizing, it will give Norway the Treaty of Tordesillas, which is insane.
It's whoever gets the colony first. Who? How does it say who gets the event?
um, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't remember for sure, but that regardless, whoever gets it, um, Iceland
Oh,
getting it,
Joffrey.
yeah.
There's a really funny thing I'm looking at in the one of the options.
Push to settle the treaty.
No, not that one. The one that says exchange sides.
Exchange sides. You just swap who has which side of the
Yes,
world.
you just swap halves. It sounds amazing.
That does sound hilarious. Uh, wait, what's the 15 power? 15 something power?
I assume that's prestige. Let me double check.
No, no. Prestige is the medal. This is
It has
something
like
power.
a picture of a church in the lightning bolt.
Oh, it is church power. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's literally what it is. Church power.
Yeah, church power.
Um,
Okay.
so push to
Oh,
settle
and
the
that's why you
treaty.
use 15 church power to get, and it says making use of our influence the people states. Okay.
When the progress to ratification of the treaty is 100%, a new phase will start, and you can use the push to settle treaty to speed it up. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so if you're
because
happy
all of
with,
the things that changed the treaty itself delay ratification. So if you wanted to exchange sides or move the line, that all delays it because
so
it gives them more time to just do it back to you.
and that's why, yeah. So if you've got a lot of church power, you can push to finish it and just
It might actually be like a good idea to just ratify the treaty as soon as possible because the faster it gets ratified, the worse every other Catholic power will be because they just can't do anything once you get those claims.
I guess. I just don't. I don't know if. So once this happens, theoretically, only those two Catholic countries are able to colonize.
Yes, it says if you scroll down a little bit more that there's a status of the treaty, so the treaty can get stronger or weaker over time.
Okay. Okay. So shifting the line, we'll get to it there. Yeah, we'll get to that. So the current split is determined by the Treaty of Valladolid. Not favor as much as it shows you. Yeah, shift the line. Uh, move to new location. Delays the ratification and gives you a cooldown. Shifting the line. Yeah. Shifting
Oh,
the
it
line.
actually shows you how much it shifts it by. Interesting.
I don't see where it's how. Oh, does it is like the next
There's
picture?
the two
Oh,
pictures.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, that's pretty
the
decent.
purple thing got moved.
That's like 2 areas over. That's pretty nice. Huh.
To be honest, as long as your side of the line has like Central America and Mexico, you're gonna be fine.
It's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But then again, if your side of the line doesn't, if you just split it to like, if you split it at like Panama, then that means one person gets all of South America.
That would actually be kind of funny.
I don't because okay, if you split it at Panama, one person gets all of South America and the eastern seaboard of the U.S.
Oh yeah, how far? Like, where is the U.S. latitude compared to South America? No, I don't remember this. Did they actually get if they get the Eastern Seaboard, that would be kind of good for them, huh?
Well, yeah, Panama is like smack dab in the middle of the U.S., ain't it?
No, no, you're right. You're right.
Longitude
Panama's like
wise?
right directly south of Florida. So if you split it in
No,
Panama,
no, no, no,
Florida
no,
will
no,
be
no. No, it's not. No, it's like in the middle.
no. It's okay. Panama, from what I'm looking at, is
Panama's under
directly
Texas.
like below. We know it's one second. Which one is Panama again? No, that's not where Pan. One second, Joffrey. Let me show you a screenshot. You're looking at the Treaty of Tordesillas, like the first picture. Panama looks like it's
Oh,
under Florida.
no, you're right. It is under Florida. I'm being stupid. Uh,
No, but they do get most of the Eastern
they.
Seaboard though, like right to like Lake Huron or I don't remember the names.
Oh
No,
yeah,
that's
that.
Lake Michigan. My bad.
Oh, okay, okay. Never mind. Never mind. That's a better deal than I thought. Panama. Yeah, that would mean that the same person who gets Central America would also have Florida. Yeah. Um. But yeah, it
Like,
depends
don't
on
get
the
me
map
wrong, moving
projection.
the line
Yeah.
east is better for whoever wants North America, but like getting all Central America is still nice. And the faster you get it, the more less likely anyone can take it from you.
Shifting the line, exchanging sides. I want to read this one. During the
Yeah, please
negotiations,
do. It's so
it
funny.
became clear to us that our rival share of the world is much better than ours. We will use our reputation and prestige to try and convince them that it's in their interest to swap their claims with ours.
It's literally just grass is greener on the other side.
Castile gets the event, a grand exchange.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I had to talk about it. It's so funny.
Exchange sides. When the new phase
But then, yeah, if you scroll down,
starts.
this is the part that I wanted to discuss.
Okay. When the new phase starts, the world will be divided between the two signatory powers, including both the already claimed areas and the respective half of the world, and new actions become available. But I want to go to India this game. No, sorry, if you're Catholic, you can't go to India this game. I mean, but we're getting to this. We're getting to this. So, supposedly, according to Nemcraft, and I mean, you've read this already, Rasaki. Knowing you, you've read this 3 times already. Uh, Theoretically, this is something that, yeah, the treaty relevance, it changes what you're able to do. So that's very curious.
Yeah. And as you can see, there are some interesting actions like violating the treaty, upholding the treaty, exchanging claims, and demanding transfers. But you get the idea.
Demand the transfer of a claimed province. Yeah. Hmm. So I'm sure that various actions will make the treaty more or less relevant, and then eventually, if people just disregard the treaty too much, it disappears, and all benefits and penalties associated with it will go away because the situation will just go away completely.
But
Also,
at least for now, while the treaty is still relevant, if you're one of the countries that isn't the two that get the clans in the world, you can just choose to violate it, and then you can colonize anyway, and no one who's going to stop you.
this is something that's very interesting to me now because if you recall, one of the things I was considering in regards to like remember we have ideas for the different age stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail, but right now save that for another video. But got the ideas for different age related stuff as our mod goes on, and I think that this here, the fact that this is a situation that affects a lot of players. This is like affects a lot of people in the game. So like all the Catholic countries, anyone that wants to colonize that's Catholic is affected by this. Um, I had the intention that there could be situations that helped us with those age mechanic stuff that affect the whole map. Whereas stuff goes on, like the whole world gets involved in a new situation, if you recall that. And this is validating that notion to me more that there's situations like this that will theoretically be around for most of the game, if not all of it. Effect is a
This
strong
might not be
word.
around for that long, maybe like 100 or 200 years. But yeah, I agree with you though. These situations look awesome. I love looking at stuff like this.
Yeah, because
Also, I may have misunderstood some of
uh,
these buttons. Sorry, you first.
just the fact that this here, yeah, okay, yeah, it might not be around forever, but the point is that it'll be around for like at least an age worth of time. Depends
Yeah, it's
on
very
how people
important and
treat it.
relevant to the
Yeah.
game. People will
So
have to experience this a lot.
I think as a result that proves to me that and you've got all these buttons and interactables. I think that proves to me at least that the notion is at least worth looking into of making global situations that everyone on the map is able to influence and be affected by to a degree. But
Yeah,
we'll
it
have
doesn't need to be
see.
literally everyone, but enough people that you will probably interact with it either on
Yeah.
one side or the other.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the underground people aren't going to be affected by most of them, but
They can get their own situations. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Hello, Wonarks. Wonk? Are you Wonk, perhaps, or are you a new face? It's similar enough to Wonk. I thought it could be you. Um, Situations make nations interact. I love them. Yes, yes, they're a very interesting mechanic, and they're one of the things that seem to cause the game to have the most replayability that it can have, and that is as a result. Those are the things that when it comes to us making our mod, once the EU5 is actually out, we want to make a big emphasis on making the efforts to have replayability through the variety of outcomes and these various like interactions that will happen, and they're not all guaranteed, and then wherever you're playing you can have an effect on stuff like this, because I think vanilla is really leaning into that sort of flavor. The more we learn about the game, the more it seems that that's the sort of thing they're going for. They're going for all these dynamic events and these situations and the disasters and stuff as well, of course. That will happen, and most of the time, um, it seems something I quite like. Uh, only
Yep.
the only people that have like disasters, that's something I've talked about when it comes to like mod philosophy as well, is the idea of um like we've talked before about um there's lots of total conversion mods for paradox games will make like end game disasters that are specific to tags, so like as you go along and become more powerful something specifically happens to mess with you. And I really like how most of those sorts of disaster things specifically happen to in EU5 vanilla, uh, people that start strong and it happens early. They let the later on stuff that is disaster style things be dynamic. That happens to you because you messed up, and they're dynamic things. They don't force something where, well, France specifically in this age had this happen to them after hundreds of years of gameplay, so they're going to be screwed over now. No,
Well, yeah,
like
the idea of the disaster is that there are potential outcomes based on the decisions you make.
I'm going on a huge rant now, but the point is just that you don't have the Ottomans late game having a decadence mechanic just to screw them over because they start
To be fair, I
strong.
kind of like Decadence.
Um, I, I I never played with it, but the notion of it is a little icky to me. That is something
Oh, I
specific
agree with
to
you
them
on that. I just
that
think that
happens
it was
late
done about
game.
as well as it could have been.
Yeah, it was
Because
good. Like it
the
works
way
for
that EU4
EU4,
handled
I
it is
think.
that,
Yeah,
yeah, the reason why I like it, just want to say one thing, is that they handle it so that you could get around Decadence and not have to do the disaster. But if you did do it, it would make your country stronger and you get more bonuses after.
that's also true. I forgot about that. You get lots of reform stuff if you
That's the
do
one aspect
succeed.
that I actually really liked.
Yeah, that is an important thing, I suppose, being that if you do want to slap someone with a disaster that's specific to them, that they get something special out of it afterwards.
But specifically, the idea of it being more optional, where if you just played well, you would never get the disaster.
I honestly didn't
Like the
didn't know that that was a thing that you could do with it. I
like
didn't
the
know that it
mechanic of the
was.
for decadence would be there, but if you just kept your decadence in check, you wouldn't actually get like the janitary coup, for example. Some people would actually try to get it early in order to get the bonus early.
Yeah, and then other people try to
But
just
anyway,
never
we're
have it
going
happen.
off track a little.
A little bit, yeah. But that's part of what this is all about, ain't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I like that kind of design philosophy with disasters. So having them happen to players, like not even players, specific countries with a history, isn't bad as long as there's like lore around it,
I know we've talked
and
a lot
as long as
about
you have that
the
like option.
we've talked, I know, a lot before design philosophy wise about the idea of players being able to outskill stuff, where you can get better at the game and then make deal with something better because you
Yeah,
you know the game better. Something that Um, hopefully in EU5 the wars of reformation aren't avoidable. Mm, I
I kind of think they should be,
I
but
highly doubt they'll
also
be guaranteed. That's like the reformation itself is guaranteed, but I highly doubt that the wars will be guaranteed. Um, sorry, sorry, no.
no, that's fair. I was just saying that the league wars. I don't think the league wars will be guaranteed. They're not even guaranteed in EU4, are they?
No, and that's why Eric is saying that he hopes that they will
Oh,
be
he's saying
they
he
will
wants them to
be
be. Yeah, I
guaranteed.
don't know
Yeah.
about that.
Um, and
Like, if no one becomes Protestant and you just keep converting them back to Catholic, it shouldn't just happen anyway.
the problem with multiplayer is everyone just avoided it. Well, we the only reason that they get avoided in multiplayer games on our Discord server, typically the thing is because you either have someone who is the emperor who is really good at stomping out the heresy in the empire and just goes around beating up electors like with a stick, so that they don't convert and trigger the league. Uh, or you just have players who get strong enough Diplo to stop it. Typically, it does happen.
Or there's a third option where everyone in Europe is the same religion, so you can't have a league war if everyone stays Catholic.
Doing it just weakens you and makes you a target. I don't know if I'd say that. You don't need
Doing
to.
what?
Declaring the league war makes you weakened a target. I wouldn't say that at all. It becomes a great opportunity to smack down the emperor if the emperor is doing well, and people will do that. And I think that that will definitely be the case in this game as well. Now, to be more specific about leagues, is that I saw um, I watched an after action report from uh, I forget his name. I don't think it was a different guy, not the student. He was making an after action report video where he was just talking about and drawing stuff on the screen about how he played as Castile and um, conquered Iberia, and eventually he declared war on Naples, and something about when and how he attacked Naples caused a new situation to appear, which was the Italian League Wars, which created all sorts of different. It created like three different leagues where there's like the Italians, there's the Germans, and there's the Iberian League, and that sort of thing. And they all,
Oh, that is what happened historically, yeah, because
Mhm.
Italy got split up between like powers all the time.
So that's a thing that shows up, um, and yeah, the fact that they have a mechanic for that to happen dynamically and theoretically could just be completely avoided by something like, oh, because it probably requires like, oh, a power that is this strong in with their capital in one of these regions declares war on an Italian person, then it starts the leagues. They look, but the thing I want to say is that they look really cool from a mechanical standpoint. From what
Okay.
this person was explaining, all the different things, because there's ways that you can get claims on territories, and you get to join conflicts with other league war like members. It's like there's people fighting a war to conquer part of Italy,
Hmm.
and they're from the other league, so you can join against them, and you negotiate with people inside your league for stuff.
I
Sounds
wonder if
really
you
cool.
can unify Italy if you lead the Italian league. That sounds interesting.
That could be very cool if it's true. I wouldn't be surprised. But the Emperor is always a strong nation
But
anyway,
yeah,
and in MP players have eaten most of the HRE at that point. But that's HRE snowball issue. It looks like, yeah, the HRE is going to be very weird in EU5 compared to 4. Like you're going to be able to snowball even faster in it as a small tag. Um,
I was just gonna say these games are never balanced around multiplayer anyway.
hmm, true. I mean,
What you the
as
Paradox games? Yeah, they're never
yeah,
balanced around multiplayer.
yeah. I've said before that I'd really like to try and make our mod balanced for multiplayer, but there's only so much you can do in that regard. Uh,
I
but
feel like attempting to do that would just make the story less fun. Maybe that's just me.
Well, what that mainly means is that there just aren't any specific tags where if you play them, it's like, oh, they're just way better than anyone else. You know,
Oh, well, yeah,
like
that's not what I mean. But you
what
got my point at least.
I don't what I mean is that we just sit down when designing stuff in our mod and actually looking at the numbers and like the power of different factions and you know, test it out with players in multiplayer and discuss
I see.
things
Okay.
like, oh,
Yeah, that
this
makes more
faction's
sense.
really strong, and because they're this strong, it means that anyone else in this region can just never have a chance. Uh, and
No, I see what you're saying.
you know, I like the idea of us when we're designing and redoing stuff, being able to look at a region like you take Vesterland and you're like, you know what, okay, here are all the different things you could feasibly slot players on, and then adjusting stuff as needed to make it feel better because we're not beholden to anything. We can change stuff as we want. There, that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Okay. Okay.
And then also not make any races just absolutely useless or OP. That's the other one.
Well, yeah, that was all given. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was just worried it was gonna turn into one of those like Hoi 4 MP mods.
And then we need to, okay, this idea group is bad, so we actually removed it and replaced it with general staff ideas, and then this is too meta. Everyone always takes this, so we need to get rid of that thing. And then no, I don't want to change all that fundamentals of the game. I want the mod to feel like, you know, it is you playing EU5 just in this setting. I don't want it. It's not reinventing the wheel. But anyway, uh,
Yeah.
really getting off
Back
topic.
to the treaty, surely.
Surely violating. We've been staring at this and not actually discussing what's on the screen. The violation of the
It's so
treaty.
interesting.
So you gain violate the treaty forever, and you gain 10 antagonism towards us centered on Lisbon. That's nothing. That's
See,
nothing.
Jeff, you think it? I have a theory. We call treaty relevance. My guess is, depending on how relevant the treaty is, you gain more or less antagonism.
Okay, I mostly understood what you're saying, even though your connection was cutting out there. The idea being that yeah, the
Hello, is
more
it still
yeah,
cutting?
it's still kind of bad, but yeah, the idea being that the more relevant the treaty is, the more antagonism you'd get, and yeah, maybe that's how it works. But also antagonism in general needs to be increased a lot more in EU5 because right now apparently it basically doesn't do anything. But we will ignore these rulings and allow people to take what is their right to have. It's probably gonna be basically everyone that isn't one of the two signatories. Everyone that isn't one of the two signatories is just gonna instantly be like, I'm just gonna violate this. I don't care. Upheld the treaty relevance. Defend the importance of the treaty of Valladolid and its heavily ordained righteousness. Yes, yes. So this is something that you can just use your influence, your religious power on to just increase its relevance. Just whenever you feel like it, I guess. You just click the button, more and more relevance. Exchange claims. With the ratification of the Treaty of Valladolid, the world has been split between the main colonial powers, but that is still not to our liking, and some amendments could be made to improve our position. Might entice one of the powers to exchange one of their claims to an area for their claims to an area. This makes it sound like there's more than just two signatories, which is strange. But, I don't know. It's not the case, but it's just, yeah. The demand transfer of a claimed province. So as you can, if they reject, you know, you can get a CB, which is like, yeah, okay, yeah, you get a CB if they refuse our gracious request. The relevance of the treaty decreases monthly, and then additionally by each time that's been violated. The situation will end when its relevance goes down to 0%, and at that moment the ban on colonization and the claims will disappear, and all Catholic countries will be free to colonize wherever they want again. Okay, yeah, I do
Wait.
actually like that quite a
So
bit.
hold on. Are you telling me that if you violate the treaty, you can't colonize until the treaty is 0? I'm
Um,
confused.
if no, it's saying that if you that you can violate it, um, and you'll be able to colonize as much as you like. It's just that,
Oh, okay. But so for anyone who hasn't violated it yet, then they could colonize when the treaty goes away. Okay.
yeah, I think that the penalties for violating it should be a little more severe than just 10 antagonism one time, but we'll see. Because 10 antagonism one time is nothing unless there's other stuff
I
involved.
just
That's
think
such
that
a nothing. It
I just
wastes
think
all the
EU5
mechanics.
generally is too or not too conservative with antagonism. You should not be able to just conquer central Italy and not get a coalition.
So you can violate it or try to exchange claims with the signatory or give them free claims. If you're not one of the two signatories, you just can't colonize it just anywhere in the world until either you violate the treaty um, or the treaty ends. So yeah, I guess like France theoretically in yeah, historically France was violating the treaty when they were colonizing all their stuff in the Americas. But yeah, we've come to the
It's
Great
time.
Pestilence. We spent an hour almost talking about just the Treaty of Tordesillas, which is fair.
That was fun. I wonder actually if the relevance of the treaty will increase the chance of the other nations accepting the demand for transfer.
Probably. I imagine so. Um, the it's interesting as Rasak is saying as well, the risk is free claims. Yeah, if you're not one of the powers involved in the treaty and you violate it and colonize stuff you don't have claims on, then because you don't have claims on any of it, then that means that the other person, the person who has rightful ownership of that land, will just get claims on you for free. So
And they
that's
can just get a
interesting.
free CB from those free clans if they try to demand it from you. So they don't even have to
Yeah.
make one themselves.
Yeah. As far as a player's concerned, it means that you might be able to sometimes just yoink some land for free because you'll ask the AI for it and they'll be like, well, damn, we violated this treaty and colonized this land, but you're pretty scary, so we'll give it to you.
Hmm. Oh, Joffrey, I'm looking through Great Pestilence. Uh, it looks like they're using some of the stuff in the Black Death,
Well, I
which
imagine
kind of
it's
expected, but
I imagine it's just a worse version of it, really.
it is worse in the sense that there's a lot less you can do. The Black Death, I feel like, had a lot more options.
The Great Pestilence is a situation portraying the numerous diseases brought by European colonizers after 1492. And as such, it triggers after the first European colonies have been established in the New World. So, oh boy. Once those colonies happen, then I guess theoretically, wherever the first colony is, the situation starts from? Or the disease spreads from? I don't know. We'll have to see. Just when they have a beachhead. Yeah, as soon as the Europeans get a beachhead, the Americans just lose 80% of their population, spreading out from the source. Yeah, it's great.
80. It says it can be up to 90.
Every time it gets worse. Like I used to think it was 70, then I thought it's 80, and now I hear it's up to 90.
It says right here, up to 90%. Like, it was brutal.
Yeah, and here I keep telling myself that our plans for making a super bad disease that happens sometime during the first age instead of the Black Death that just kills like 70 or 80% of the population in the Eurasia continent. was like a terrible, horrible thing to do to people. Yeah, look at what they do to
To
the
be
Native
fair, it
American
is
players.
terrible. What, Joffrey, when they say 90%, that's what the reason why the natives were just rolled over every time anyone went to colonize in America. There just weren't any natives left. They like effectively tags would just disappear.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh dear. Um. But yeah, mysterious plague is ravaging the natives in Salvaleon. Yeah. It is infecting the indigenous population at an alarming rate, independently of their class or piety. The disease is unpredictable and deadly, sometimes producing fevers and rashes, sometimes vomiting or delirium, and almost always ending in death. The speed of the contagion and morbidity of the symptoms is leaving our doctors perplexed and impotent. There's little else we can do besides deliver last rites and dig graves. Rip. Eesh. Poor souls. Yeah. Misery and plague sweeps the land, and death runs with them. Apparently, this brought by mysterious bearded foreigners. Oh God. So, yeah, Salvaleon de Huey, 1438. This is too soon. Oh wait, they started by event. Yeah, they started this by event. They immediately, I guess. I hope.
Yeah, it will trigger after the first European colonies have been established in the New World. So, yeah, the natives really can't do anything to stop it. It just happens because they will always get a colony somewhere you can't see, and it'll just spread to you.
Affected locations 4 and yeah, 6,000
Oh,
dead already.
Joffrey,
Yeah.
you're looking at where it says procure remedies, segregate the infected, and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think that's bad in terms of they don't have many things to do? That's not the natives. That's the colonies. The native countries are the next picture.
Yeah, because this is what the I know that this is what the Europeans can do to the black, like when the Black Death is happening,
Yeah, you're gonna love what the Native Americans can do to the Black
and they
Death.
can present scapegoats. So the next image is so yeah, oh yeah, okay, two different sets of actions for colonizing in native countries. Okay, so Great Pestilence, where okay, different origin. Yeah, they started at game start. Um, they could oh okay.
Don't you love the numerous actions that they're able to accomplish to stop the pestilence from destroying their country?
The natives can either sponsor spiritual protection or no contact with outsiders.
Unironically, I think no contact with outsiders might be the only way to just not lose 90% of your pops. Genuinely just like cut off everything.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how much that's gonna help.
That's the only thing you can do, Joffrey. Do you think spiritual protection is going to save you?
They can't even procure remedies or something. They can't like try and
No,
ease the
they can't.
symptoms. They're just praying it away.
That I saw. Remember, I was explaining like they're just cooked.
They're so cooked. Oh, okay, well, yeah, what does sponsor spiritual protection do? As the clergy say, illness are caused by the spiritual unbalance in the body of the sick or by the breaking of a taboo that allowed foul spirits to take hold of the body of the guilty. We can fight the disease by beckoning the most powerful spirits and making sacrifices that compel them to cast their protections over our people. Uh-huh. So you get sponsored spiritual protections, and you have to pay for it. But it's not saying what it does. That's a shame.
I don't know. I'm going to assume it's not much.
I'm gonna assume that it increases stability. Which,
Yeah, I don't think spiritualism is going to make people not die from the plague.
to be fair though, I think that being able to press a button that makes you spend money to increase your stability is probably going to still be very important during a time when up to 90% of your population is going to vanish. You might just need a little bit of stability growth.
You might need.
Could be
I
handy.
don't know, man. There is a thing that says disease resistance, but I think that might just be for the colony.
No contact with outsiders. Everybody knows that foreigners and merchants from neighboring tribes have brought plague into our territory. To avoid the further spread of the scourge, we will cut all ties with our neighbors and close our borders to any trade, no matter the cost to our economy.
This is what I was saying. It's probably the only way you can actually save your people.
Yeah. A little bit at least, I guess. That's what you gotta do as Cahokia. As Cahokia, you're gonna have to just conquer all of the other, because like there's lots of societies of pops that are around Cahokia, so as those societies
Yeah.
of pops settle down, you gotta just conquer and unite them so you own all the land next to you, and then there's no other tags that are near you, so you just lock down your market. No trade with any other markets, no one's near me.
Which I assume the Great Dying will go away eventually.
I'm sure just like the Black Death, it'll disappear in time. Mind you, realistically, you can't just avoid it, because if you avoid getting sick from it, that just means that you're going to get sick later, and your descendants won't be immune to it either.
Well, yes,
But,
I know,
gameplay. Yeah.
but like you don't really have options.
The disease will spread throughout the native population, pretty much as you saw with the Black Death, but in a much deadlier way, as up to 90% of the population will die. And you do have disease
Like
resistance.
I was saying,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if disease resistance applies to the natives as well, or just I'm confused about that.
Great pestilence outbreak. Alright. Ooh. Ooh. What a fun map. It's getting closer to the Inca. Oh my goodness. This is so fun. Any second now, the Inca are going to be infected. Whoa.
Oh yeah, Joffrey. I've noticed in the dev diary there's a distinct lack of showing recovery period.
Showing like how hard it is to recover from it.
Yeah, I assume you just don't recover from it.
Um, well, with 90% of your people gone, yeah, I think that that's not really something you just recover from.
Which is why I'm wondering, like, how would you play a native in this game?
Um, so you got like 150 years before the Europeans show up, and once they do show up, you're going to lose 90% of your people. And you don't even have that many people to begin with.
And the birth rates are not that high.
And you have no tech, because all the tech that you're researching, like you're not able to use any of the institutions. So you're not gonna have any professional soldiers, which means that your units will be absolutely useless.
Oh yeah, Joffrey, that's something we should be thinking about. If you're a native, you don't get advanced tech unless, at least quickly, unless the Europeans show up. But that means it's too late. You're not going to get any of the medicine or any of like the potential plague reduction stuff.
We don't know for sure. Where the like hospital buildings show up in the tech tree. They might. I assume though they're from the generic Age of Renaissance tech tree, which means that the natives could research them. I suspect that that will be the case.
Well, aren't natives still in age of traditions?
Uh, Everyone enters the new age at the same time. Think of it like, okay, well, do you know how Civ 7 works?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's like imagine Civ 7, everyone enters a new age and you have a new tech tree. It's like that, except you still have the old tech tree too. So you know it's actually smart.
Okay.
It's actually like it
I
makes
see.
sense. So
Civ
when
7 if it wasn't mid.
yeah, just play this game. I don't know. Um, Also, building your country is probably going to be more fun in this game anyway. I'm unironically going to want to play. I want to see how tribes play because I kind of think that building up a country from tribalism to like a functioning urban society and continuing to industrialize over time after starting from a humble place will be really cool. That's part of why I keep adding tribal countries
Yeah.
to our game. But
I'd want to play a Native American tribe at least once, and then I'm probably gonna quit and never play one again after the Great Dying. But we'll see.
whoa. Nemcraft, you see, if you see the stream chat, Asriel says that from what apparently Generalist has said, you can save up to double your people. Up to 20% of your people could survive.
Oh, so only 80% die. So
Yeah.
it's only like a little bit of a population collapse, not a complete population collapse.
Yeah, if you rush, you gotta rush down the all that research for a disease resistance, and you gotta lock out all the foreigners, and procure your spiritual healing and stuff, and then you'll save 20% of your people.
Wait, what? Spiritual healing's an actual thing?
No, no, I like that's just the name of the thing you do. Like
Oh, I was like,
sponsoral
wait,
spiritual
that
protection.
was an actual tech that you researched. I was about to lose it.
Um, there's a tech for Catholics that's just like um the Virgin Mary, I think.
Yes,
So
I
yeah,
know, but like, can you imagine?
you okay, like there's a tech in the Age of Traditions, I think. No, Renaissance. There's an Age of Renaissance tech that's like alchemy, and it gives you disease resistance and
Oh yeah, yeah, we did
lifespan
talk about
increase.
this.
So I think there's going to be a few ways that you can try and survive better. But we'll have to see how much that helps. In our own mods case though, it's going to be a little more a little different how you have to survive our plague because it's not exactly a sickness. You need some things a little different to survive it than just having leeches. Locations depopulating. They're losing their population rapidly. Oh my goodness, how could that happen? Europe tech use soap. Yes. Yes. Well, really, the Native Americans should have just gotten lucky on the evolutionary dice roll and had um, domesticated, what are they called? Like farm animals. I forget there's a specific term, but like they should have
Why didn't the Native Americans just participate in the global economy like all the other civilizations?
they should have just gotten lucky and had like cows and pigs move over. Because isn't it like isn't the wonky thing supposedly the fact that like I think horses are said to have like evolved initially in the Americas and then they left. They migrated out of the Americas in the
Yes,
ancient
the
past and then they
ancestors from
died
horses came.
in the
Yeah, the
Americas.
ancestors from horses came from the U.S. It's the same thing with how, for example, like bison were like originally, I believe, from America, but then you have like African bison and American bison.
Mm.
Like a lot of animals like start in one area, move to others, and then died out or in one or two.
That's what they're missing. The Native Americans should have domesticated bison. That
Of course.
buffalo rather. They should have domesticated the buffalo. That would have made them disease resistant. Also, like eat bats and stuff. But OPB mentioned that natives that are left alone later on become at least a small challenge because they get guns, horses, etc. Huh.
What natives? Wouldn't they all be like dead from the disease?
Well, I guess the idea, see, the idea is that, like, yeah, if you lose your population, that's, population go bye bye. But the things that, okay, if you have more empty land, that also makes it easier to um grow your population. Uh,
Okay.
the two things that help the most with growing population, from what we talked about yesterday, was the fact was either like having a surplus of food in a region, and having more pop cap. So you could get more, sure, by like having, because if you lose people, that you lose some of your food production, but also it gets made up for by the fact that you you've got less people, and as a result, there's more empty pop caps. So it'll be you'll have more pop growth still, and also there are these buildings called settlements that you can construct in rural locations that have under a certain percentage of their maximum population capacity, and those things will increase migration attraction and pop growth, and then they'll be destroyed once you reach that percentage of the max population of that tile. So there's a lot of ways that you can try to help your population recover, but at the end of the day, there's just no way that you're going to be able to, as anyone in the world, really compete with places like China and India that just have half the population of the world. um, Within 100 years, the Comanche went from a small tribe at the foot of the mountain to American version of the Mongols with the introduction of horses. It doesn't mean that it'll happen in game though. But yes, this is true. It's not like colonial nations start with massive pops compared to them. 100 per location is not a lot really. So the thing with that, Rasak, is that yeah, the colonial nations. Okay, that's also true. Now that I'm thinking about it more, European powers usually aren't going to be interested in sending their expensive, like they're not going to send levied armies over the seas. Like who's going to raise their levies to send them across the ocean to fight some Native Americans in the New World? They're only going to send professional troops. And how often are European powers going to really be interested in sending their professional armies all the way across the ocean to fight some native tribes? Because like again, how much are they getting out of it? So a lot of the time, the people that are actually attacking natives, I imagine, would end up being the colonial establishments, which initially won't be very strong either. But this is all speculation, wild speculation. I don't know how the AI is going to think. And players are certainly going to send over their professional troops, even though it'll cost them a lot of lives. He
I
said
don't
there's
think players would, to be honest. It sounds like a really big hassle. At least if I was playing a like nation that's colonizing, I'd try to like build troops in the colony itself and just keep stacks there, so I wouldn't have to move them across the ocean.
Mags. He said that if you miss the window at the beginning, you can't really supply an army over there. Oh, so the idea of what you're saying, Mags, is that OPB then said that um you have a window of opportunity when the natives lose 90% of their pops and have bad tech, but once the population dies and then it'll start to recover and they'll start to get the institutions. So you have this window of opportunity where they don't have tech and they lose their population, but it'll come back. And the problem then will
Well, that is
become
kind
that.
of what happened.
Sorry?
No, I was saying that is kind of what happened in real life. I was just thinking, can they actually come back? Wouldn't they just not be able to like build or scale?
That's another thing. I don't know how. Okay, yeah. Rasak, you're saying that at the start those markets won't even have the guns to reinforce you with, but how will the natives have guns? Natives won't have guns either. Oh, but I guess your point then is that those markets that are those new markets in the new world won't have the guns to reinforce you with, um, but the natives don't need the guns because they got their shitty tech that just needs weaponry, which will be easier for them to make instead of guns.
Can't
But
they just
the
trade with the home countries?
theoretically, theoretically
Because
you
sure, they
can.
can't make their own guns; they could just buy them.
Need to build it or trade it. So okay, Rasak, how? I don't think I don't think that if you've got an army in the new world, you would need to do, army supply lines don't rely on like don't they just rely on going to your territory? So like theoretically, as long as your army is able to trace a route back to your colony's territory, your colonial nation's territory for like a few tiles, then they'll just be supplied regardless of whether or not that colony's market has weaponry. Takes from local markets. I know you get food from local markets, but troops resupply from home markets. Wait, you're saying that you do actually need to resupply with your own shit? I thought that it was only food that you need to resupply for. Oh no. I didn't know you need weapons to resupply and stuff. Ugh. Oof. Oof. And here I was. I was already intending to try and make our total conversion mod have a greater emphasis on the importance of boats in warfare than vanilla does. But I think that EU5 is going to probably be, seems like they're going to be doing a good job of that already. One thing I'm really keen on is trying to make it a lot more of a question, because a lot of the time in EU4 there just is no, like, there's never a question of like, do I want to be naval or land focused when it comes to my army. I want to make that an actual question. I don't want people to just have the obvious answer a lot of the time. You need more advanced stuff to maintain your units unless you send nothing but pikemen. So, okay, so if I'm not mistaken, when replacing your losses, it costs the goods used to make those units. That would be so horrendous. I mean, in a good way, in a great way, but just I can't. There's no way. He's playing England and still had problems. Okay, so I started watching his video about England. I didn't finish it. I had stuff to do, so I didn't finish it. Maybe I'll get to glance at it a bit during my break at work tonight.
Joffrey, just want to let you know something.
Yeah.
You're basically done with the Dev Diary. That's like the last thing.
Oh,
or
okay.
second, like, or third last. Because it's after this is just more plague events. I don't think you actually want to read through all of them.
Glance at the effects of them, but yeah, that's about it.
Because I went through most of the dev responses as well. There's only like one or two actually interesting ones.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that. He was playing as England, still had problems, so I don't know if boats actually helped him much. That's crazy to think. So, yeah, I need to watch the rest of that video then, because I didn't. So if you had 100 horsemen and they each cost 0.1 horses and 0.5 weapons per unit, you would pay for that every loss you're replacing. And you're saying that it needs to be supplied to that market? To the market they're in somehow?
So you just want to do what generalists did then, right? Which is just flood the colonial markets with like tons of guns and stuff. I think.
Every time you're reinforcing that unit. So it's not really, because it doesn't really come up with levies, because levies just pop up and they don't reinforce at all. Levies need, you need to lower them and grab more, because when you raise the levies, you're raising all of them. You're just raising all of your levies, so all of those levies that die they're just dead. So you don't just, it's not like Imperator Rome.
That's why EU5 early wars just end really quickly, because you win a battle, they don't really replenish, they just die.
Yeah. If you stack wipe someone in the first 60 years of EU5, they're just incapable of raising troops.
Yeah, but Joffrey, question.
Yeah.
So I was reading through one of these things here. It's saying that apparently, if one of the countries, or not one country, it's saying that personal unions count as separate countries. So, like, if the Kalmar Union was colonizing, and then got like Norway and Sweden with separate colonies somehow, I don't know how, but if they did, that would just start the treaty right there, and you basically just get everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, personal unions are separate countries; they're not vassals. But the idea being then, yeah, that if Norway and Sweden were both colonizing, they were the first two countries to colonize, which is improbable, but it's technically possible. Same way that you could technically have it be England and Scotland. There's technically
or Portugal or in Spain, or Portugal and Castile.
Yeah.
So okay, one more question though. For the unit reinforcement, is it from the market that your units are stationed in? How does that work?
That's just insane if that's the case. How do you supply that then?
Which is what I'm saying. You'd have to do what generalists did in the Korea video, like flood the markets.
So that means that, yeah, if you're in someone else's land, if you're in someone else's market during the war, you just need to bring your troops back home. You need to bring them to your own territory to supply them.
Or if they're making guns, you just take their guns. If you occupy their land, right? Surely you take their resources.
Not sure how exactly it works, but goods is a maintenance and you need it to reinforce. You pull back and reinforce and push out, you can't get it locally. That's gonna be horrendous for naval invasions.
Oh,
Holy
you have to
shit.
pull back? That's okay. Naval invasions just aren't gonna happen. Then like, yeah, that's not possible.
Surely there's gotta be a way, like, if you have, okay, like if you're France invading England, surely you can capture London and just use, like ship over weapons.
Well, okay. The only way a naval invasion will work is if the AI just doesn't have any troops. Like for example, if you're like doing a Scotland thing, or no, if you're trying to naval invade Scotland, and then you go to the what's that isle like right to the north of it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Orkney?
Orkney, yes. You naval invade Orkney. They don't have troops there, and you've blockaded it with boats. Then you've got your troops there. Now they don't have the naval invasion penalty. You just start like swarming. That's what I'm thinking, at least. You just got to land somewhere where the AI doesn't have troops. Because if the troops are there, they'll just kill you, right? When you have no supply.
This is gonna be weird. This is gonna be weird.
I don't. I don't know how to think about it because that's already hurting my brain.
Oh boy.
Because from what I'm hearing, right, naval supply just isn't possible.
To continue
Or,
along
or
a bit.
I guess naval supply could theoretically be possible if it's still in your market, right?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I was thinking, could naval supply still be possible if it's in your market?
Yeah, I think they mentioned something about naval supply before, but I always just thought that naval supplying and your supply routes in general was specifically for food.
Okay. Well, that's probably what it is. But like, I said, like,
And
you can just read through. It's just going to be other events.
but yeah, yeah. In regards to this topic, yeah, just you hunt. You're just gonna roam around and be like, hey, look, these people speak a different language, so they're responsible. Just kill them. Uh,
Yeah, there's no option that you have that make it better to a substantial degree. Even generalist only gets like 20%. So
organize a hunt, lose the Republican tradition. This is great. This is great. You either organize a hunt and just start killing people and lose Republican tradition, and people just start dying, or you get the option of don't blame our destiny on others, and you lose a ton of stability.
the only thing you can do when this hits is just play Fallen Kingdom and sit down.
I used to rule the world.
That's
Oh,
literally the only thing you can do, Joffrey.
a regiment can only reinforce in your own locations and in a location owned by someone you are fighting in a war together with when that location is currently not occupied. Also, this.
So
Huh.
you can't get any
You
supply
can
in currently occupied location. That doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
you can only supply stuff for food, and navies can supply that for maintenance goods. It pulls from the market where the unit is. Which means then that if you want to reinforce your armies, because the maintenance goods, yeah, the maintenance goods for the army, meaning specifically when they're reinforcing, I assume, when the unit needs to be reinforced,
I think that's what it sounds like. Yeah, I think you need like
then
more weapons or ammunition or something.
no reinforcement ticks in enemy occupied territory and enemy land. So the idea is you need to go back to either your land or an ally's land that you're in the war with, and then you, in that land, are able to reinforce, and it specifically uses the weaponry and other goods that the units require from that market. Whoo!
But you know what this means, Joffrey? This means playing as a native just got a whole lot more feasible. Because if you
Yes.
somehow don't die from the great dying and all that, you just blitz down the colonies, and then they can't reinforce, and they're just dead. Or they can't reinforce. They can still attack you and win battles, but as long as you don't die, they just can't reinforce. So you'll win eventually.
Both for reinforcement and standard unit maintenance. But how do you have standard unit maintenance in someone else's territory then? How does it cost you the
I guess you
goods?
just don't.
Where does it take the goods from if you're in someone else's territory? Surely you can't take their stuff. I don't know. But um, in any case, yeah, that does make playing as a native a lot more feasible, despite you losing so much of your population. If you're
The
able
only
to,
problem is, I guess you've.
no, what's the only problem?
The only problem is by the time you actually recover from the Great Dying, the colonies are going to be a lot bigger.
You simply need to strike, even though you're going to be suffering, you need to strike as quickly as you can before they can build up and actually get local industry.
That's what it sounds like to me as well, yeah.
Then again, they could theoretically still just import stuff, so I don't know. I'll have to see. Details, yeah. That this is a case of yeah, you need someone like generalist to go over information in excruciating detail, and even he can't cover literally everything.
Or we wait until November.
Or we wait till November. It's coming soon. Just a couple months. Yeah, get you're losing a lot of priests, and then that you have to figure out what to do about that. Death's Door, Death and Devastation. Cities are
The Joffrey.
deserted.
One thing, you gotta ping me when you do the next Tinto talk because I'm looking at the content. It looks awesome.
They've already made the next one?
No, they've said what they're going to do.
Oh,
I don't know
oh.
if they've done the next Tinto flavor, not the Tinto talk yet.
Okay, okay. And yes, regardless, Razak, yeah, it's a lot more interesting than EU4's overseas wars. Big question is, of course, how horrible is the AI going to be at it? Because they're probably going to be useless when it comes to managing that complexity. But we'll have to see. Here's hoping they at
See,
least can manage.
I kind of think it should be somewhat horrible, not too horrible, because if you don't have an actual local supply network, you shouldn't be able to just plop 10 stacks down and then wipe the enemy.
Yeah,
Because what are you going to do? Like,
yeah, like this is going to be fantastic for. Can you imagine now? Like when we're doing this, um, picture yourself playing as a surface tag in our mod, and you're trying to conquer an underground empire, and you have to like slowly move your way through caverns and other various types of underground environments. You're
oh,
gonna cross
Joffrey, they're
underground
totally.
mountains and shit, and you just have the most horrible supply lines imaginable that basically don't function. And every time your units start to get damaged, you got to go all the way back out of the caves to get them
Joffrey,
new
you're missing the
weapons and
best
stuff.
part. The best part of this is the further in you go, it's so likely that they're just gonna like because remember the caves that at least from the map that you show me have a lot of like holes and like loopy loops.
Yeah,
They'll just run around you, cut you off, and then unsiege everything. So then you're just trapped in the middle.
and we have a very particular race that's going to be incredibly adept at fighting in the caves and will move quickly too. And their units will also probably have uh, if possible, the Dark was talking to me about perhaps the little gecko boys will be able to have units that take up less than a single frontage.
Is that even possible?
I don't
But
know. Dark and I are
I don't.
speculating about it. If it's possible, we want to do it.
Okay, I'm very skeptical of that because that might just break the code. But if it did, that would be awesome.
If it's possible, we want to make them take up only half a frontage because they can fly and they're really small and slight. You could have a ton
Wouldn't
of
that be
them.
kind of bad if they have less frontage?
No, no, no. They take up less frontage, which means
Oh,
a horse takes up more space than a dude. You can have less horse dudes engaged than foot dudes.
oh, okay.
Same
So
with
you get more
elephants.
of the
Elephants
same
take
people,
up
and
much,
I
much more
see.
space. Elephants are insanely
I get what you're saying.
powerful. Yeah. Same with other races. We have a particular race that's going to take up a lot of space. Uh,
Yep.
Underground, fun fact, underground is very small. Not much frontage. All
But
of
if you
those
get more of your
terrains.
dudes in the
So,
smaller space, I
yes,
see.
they are going to be both very powerful units underground, and they're going to theoretically be able to engage more of them at a time. So those choke points are their home.
The AI is
yeah.
gonna do so bad underground. They're gonna
Oh
die
yeah,
every time there.
it's gonna be terrible. Yeah.
We're
But
just
that's
gonna have
kind
to
of the
tell them to
point.
not attack there.
Yeah, we literally will, like, because we've been talking about making techs that make the AI actually better, like, so making techs that are for surface races and underground races that help them handle it, so that they need to try and research them later on, and otherwise they won't. The actual Moria Goblin tactics. All right. So Rasak, what we're talking about here, this race that we invented for our setting, you think Moria Goblin tactics. Imagine Mines of Moria Goblins, but they have wings. So they
Specifically
don't
for
need
gliding, not
they,
flying.
they can climb around on the walls. They can climb around on the walls and fly too. So it's bad. They can hold onto the ceiling upside down like a bat and shoot at you, or just drop out of the sky at you with a spear. Actual hives. Yeah, yeah, they're
It's also
terrifying, but
even
they're
more
also cute.
fun. It's also even more fun because they don't need lights.
Yeah. They don't need lights. They don't need lights, and you don't know when they're coming because they echolocate. They echolocate, but you can't hear the frequency of their echolocation,
You know,
so they
Joffrey. It's
screech.
probably better that they can't hear it.
Okay, well, the elves can. That's the important thing. Elves can. So
That's
theoretically,
the
if it's
problem.
possible, we'll have to
That's
make
bad.
elves worse at fighting them because they get deafened.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you don't want to hear them.
Oh. Man, do they spit poison too? Thank you, Eric. We'll need to discuss. I'll need to bring up with
No, no,
Dark the
no,
idea of potentially we can make some of them be able to spit poison. Yes, this is important.
no, no, no.
Well, you need because you got the silver wings, the ebon claws. You need the I don't know. There's got to be one tribe, but then it's the something fangs, the something fangs, and
The
they're
venom
poisonous.
snakes.
No, it's got to be a
You know,
shade.
you would
It has
love
to be a
that.
shade and and a body part. So it's got to be yeah some sort of color.
Hmm.
New level of surrounded. Yeah, they're so small they can. No, Eric, it can't be purple. It's got to be a shade. See,
They're
they're
literally in the walls.
colorblind. They're colorblind, so they don't believe that color exists. And even into the late game, they're going to be just straight up denying the existence of colors to scientists of other races. God, I need. This is just making me really want to be able to start making those videos talking about the lore. Soon, TM. Soon, TM. I'm just so busy. I've got to properly script some stuff though. The meme events will write themselves. Yes. I will need to make at some point a video where I specifically talk about said race after the mod has been officially announced. But I'm not ready to officially announce it with a video that I have planned yet. It's gonna happen, but I'm not quite ready for it. I'm missing some stuff yet. But it is going to be a great old time, I'm sure. Yeah. The last event that they're showing here is
Anyway,
just
Joffrey,
people are dying, so yeah, it's harder to construct stuff.
I got one for you. So we have the silver wings, right?
Yeah.
Then we have the ebon claws.
Yeah.
What about the ivory fangs?
The ivory fangs. Ooh. 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 Now we've got the remember there's a Vector made the one Dark Elven tag that's the Ivory Citadel, quote unquote, because like their
Yeah.
place is full of
Oh, he did? I
yeah,
didn't realize he made they call them Ivory Citadel. Right,
yeah,
okay.
in the northwest corner there
Interesting.
of the Elven part of the underground. There's a place called the Ivory Citadel. So
Okay.
we the there could be something going on there that connects the two. Uh, because
Yeah,
there's
we'll
supposed to be
see.
some of these guys hanging out in the caves nearby, so the poison guys hanging out in the corner. That could be fun. All right, but to get back on topic and finish this off, because we are talking too much about the mod before I've announced it officially. It's too
There's
easy
not much
though.
else to
Love it.
talk about. We kind of finished the dev diary already.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun to yap. I know. All right.
The only thing I was gonna say is like Joffrey, I can't wait for the next one because next week's Tinto talk is gonna be awesome. It's about the mid and late game situations, Colombian Exchange and Colonial Revolution. I need to see this.
Colonial Revolution and Columbian Exchange.
That's what I'm telling you. That's awesome. I want to see this.
Okay, okay. The way, however, this colonial revolution situation works is gonna be a big deal.
See, I have a guess. My guess is that the Colonial Revolution is going to be like the not United States of America,
Yeah.
because the idea is that whichever colony revolts first and succeeds is going to be like a beacon of, or an inspiration, and other one, and they'll all get like more liberty desire.
I I I think what I think it means, and I might need to get back into my my whole making short unscripted videos talking about stuff like this, because I think there you yeah Eric, exactly what you're saying there. I hope there's confederation mechanics for colonies. I think that's exactly what's going on here. I think this is going to be a thing where there will be a set of circumstances where if they happen, the colonies in a region will start to gain more liberty desire. There will be something you can mess up. It won't be something that just happens on its own. It'll be something that you have let go unchecked. And now those colonies are going to be entering basically a defensive league against you, where if you take any hostile action against one, the rest will join, or it's something like that.
Oh, you think it's
And
going to
then
be something
yeah,
like the Sugar Act or the Stamp Act? If you do those, it'll make them
exactly.
more mad. Okay.
I think that it's going to be you will do stuff that will make it possible for this to happen, and then when it does happen, it will the game will look at the map and be like, look at all these colonies in this region. This whole area is going to be added to this situation. All of these colonies will be added to this situation, and they'll be able to take sides and stuff. So that because I think that I just came to the notion of like what you were saying, them the idea of they'll become like a beacon for liberty, and I'm suddenly thinking, oh, so like how you have the Boston Tea Party and just the what is it called, the colonial, no, the what the heck did the American revolutionaries call their government, council of something, I forget.
Well, first it was the Continental Congress,
That's the thing. Yeah,
then
joining the
it became the
Continental
Articles
Congress.
of Confederation, and then after, okay.
Yeah, that was what I meant specifically. Yeah, the yeah, Continental Congress. I think that there's going to be something where people can choose to side with the Continental Congress.
Yeah, you've
And
got your loyalists and your like revolutionaries.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what's going to
Yeah,
be
because
going on.
historically
Yeah,
New York was loyalist only and stuck with the crown until the end.
yeah. And like you could add it to speculation as to like things like, would you include, because you could theoretically include Canada and then yeah, Upper and Lower
See,
Canada
I
in that,
wouldn't.
because
Canada wasn't really part of the revolution.
the thing that
Like, he
I'm
could have had his
curious
own
about,
revolution.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but the reason I mention that is I'm curious how they're going to decide. Um, this is all speculation. We don't know how it works, but this is just us assuming that it's a situation where you will do something that annoys people. The situation then appears, and people choose sides, whether they join the equivalent of the Continental Congress, that sort of thing. How does the game decide who's involved?
Like, again, I think they'll do it through like the EU4 way. Everyone's got their colonial regions. If you're in this region,
I really
then
hope it
this thing
doesn't,
happens.
because that is ass. That is a terrible way to do it, because what happens then if you've got, okay, imagine if, shockingly, just a wild idea, what if the British didn't pass the Quebec Act before the American Revolution happened, and Quebec was still pissed off with the British Crown and decided they're going to join the revolution, Because the only reason they didn't join the revolution is because the British gave them a ton of freedoms like a year before the American Revolution happened because they were afraid that they would join the growing unrest. So they thought, we'll stay with the crown because we've got more liberty right now than we'll probably have in whatever new government shows up. So in that context, you have places like Quebec that is perfectly ready to revolt until stuff is done that causes them to not revolt. But like the only distinction is it's in this arbitrary colonial Canada. In EU5, we have not seen anything that's like this is colonial this is colonial that. We haven't seen any such thing. I would be very annoyed if it decided, okay, well, you're in Colombia, but this colony here is just barely in colonial Brazil, and as a result, they're not going to be able to join this situation. They can't revolt.
Hey, Jeffrey, I agree. However, I think that's most likely how they're going to do it because I don't see how else you'd create a distinction between colonies that participated and ones that colonies that didn't. Because, for example, right, in the British,
Spanish colonies.
Oh, yes.
Spanish colonies all went. They all went at once. I think it's what Rasak is saying, because Rasak is saying that it's just having the same overlord. All nations themselves decide or not. I think that makes more sense to me. Because there's reasons for and against every member of the British Empire choosing to go or stay. And a lot of the times with people in there's different reasons why various people in North America chose to stay or go. And I think that makes a lot of sense to me. It just so happens that in real history, Cuba just didn't go because the Spanish fleet exists. So they didn't really have a choice.
Interesting. So, well, question. Do you think that each country will get like its own colonial revolution event, or do you think it'll be for one in particular?
I don't think that this is going to be a one-time deal, and I don't think that this is specific to any particular part of the map or anything like that. I think that this will be a result of having enough colonies, maybe. No, it doesn't even matter. I just that you will be a country that has colonies, and you will do something that makes them mad. That's what I think the context is. I don't know how.
Makes sense.
It probably requires you to be in a certain age too. I'm willing to bet that it requires a certain age, and then if you're in a certain age, the age of revolutions, shocking.
No, never.
No,
That'll be silly.
Age of revolutions, situation, right? So
go.
probably. Oh, yeah, and we should be wrapping this up anyway. But
See you later.
see you now. See you now. Bye. I think the same can happen inside the Americas. Yeah. It is a situation. So I assume it can affect all colonizers as well. Yeah. This was a fun yap. Yes, it's been a good while since I've been doing these sorts of things consistently, and I would really like to get back into it. It's just that a lot of stuff has changed for me in my personal life. That I'm getting a lot more work lately, and it's harder to balance that. I also have a girlfriend, so lot less time to do this than I used to. Harder to balance it all out. And then especially with EU5 being officially announced, I've been working a lot more on my preemptive modding stuff. And that is not easy to do. It takes a lot of work. I'll show off some of that on the channel soon enough, but not yet. Not quite ready for it. But all in due time. See y'all next time. Maybe we'll talk about Portugal. I guess probably should. I like Portugal. We saw Spain. Tinto flavor for them too should be cool. And of course then the mid and late game situations. So thank you all for watching. This has been Joffrey in the Dark. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.